Hi everyone, it's Allison, and today we are going to make Suncatchers. It is never a bad time to add a little color to your outside environment, and these are easy and a heck of a lot of fun. You can hang them up anywhere, on a window, on the patio, wherever you like, and really all you need are some, well, the important thing is access to something that gets up to 400 degrees, an oven, a toaster oven, a grill, and our good friend, plastic beads. Now, you want to make sure they're the translucent or transparent ones, so the ones that you can kind of see through. If you get the opaque ones that are a solid color, they're just going to be plastic. They won't have any light shining through them when you're done. You can use the glow-in-the-dark ones, but they're not as see-through, but they do look really cool at night, I'm told. So you can use the transparent pony beads, the ones that are kind of roundish, or you can get the faceted beads, any size. Really, you just want color. You can use the clear ones, but I would use a limited number of them because otherwise it makes your design really boring. But you can use these faceted ones in any size and shape. You can even use the ones that kind of look like little snowflakes if you want to. But you have to kind of stack those up to make sure you've got enough plastic everywhere. So basically any transparent colored plastic bead is gonna do the trick. Another thing that you're gonna need is a baking tin of some kind. You can, this thing's always heavier than it looks. You can just use a muffin tin, and some people like to just put their beads straight in the bottom of muffin tins and use that for their shapes. Depending on how your baking tin is made, you might have caps at the bottom, there might be a seam somewhere. Sometimes the even like a non-stick pan doesn't want to let go of the plastic so well. Most pans, once you've baked your plastic and let it cool off, you can just flip the whole thing over and tap it and the pieces fall out. But if you want things to come out a little easier, my good friend aluminum foil is gonna be a good friend. That way you can just line the cups with these and use that. Or you can, this is where things get really fun. If you want to have some fun shapes, you can actually use aluminum foil and some cookie cutters. Now, if you've got metal cookie cutters, you can actually just use those like tiny baking tins by putting some aluminum foil on the bottom. But if, like me, you have plastic cookie cutters, you're actually going to fold your aluminum foil over a couple of times. Make sure you've got some room around the outside of your cookie cutter, and you're going to fold this up. Make sure you get all the sides. You're just going to go around the outside of your cookie cutter. Kind of try and keep it as flat as you can inside the cookie cutter, but get all your corners. Obviously, this works best with large cookie cutters that don't have a ton of detail to the shape. Really small cookie cutters with very intricate shapes are not going to work as well for this project. So you can just kind of scrunch the sides. Feel free to bend this down a little bit. You do want a little bit of a lip so that you have a place to pile all of your beads. You're basically just making a little shaped tray for your beads. So just kind of smush and squish until you've got like a copy of your cookie cutter shape. And just kind of wiggle it out of there. Now, if you've been silly like me and you have put the rounded edge in there, it might be a little hard to get this out, but I have faith in you. You can totally get it out. Ta-da! Now I have a star. Actually, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to do this the correct way. So make sure to put it cutting side in when you do this, lest you make a huge mess like I just did. And make sure you get all those edges Da, 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 da. Ta-da! Now we have a little tray. You might have to squish it back flat a little bit just to smooth things out. It does not have to be perfectly smooth on the back. It can be all wrinkly and crinkly. That will not do much other than make some really neat designs in your plastic. But obviously, simpler shapes, you can get a very smooth background. So there is that shape. If you want to use a muffin tin, you can just squish it in there for the muffin tin, or just use a muffin tin. One of my little nibblings, one of my nieces, decided to start using cake plates and cake tins to make really big ones. That was really for a centerpiece for like a wind chime structure for hers. That was very fun. Another way you can get some alternate shapes other than cookie cutters is by using glasses. Again, you're going to take a piece of aluminum foil, and this way you can make any size circle you want. You just have to grab a cup, and kind of fold it over, and then you just go over the top of the glass. And now, slide this out of here. Now I've got a nice circle that is bigger than a muffin tin, but smaller than smaller than a cake tin. For more fun shapes, so this glass has a, we'll try this one in a minute. This glass has a square bottom, so we're gonna make a square. So again, you're just gonna pull off a little piece of aluminum foil, give it a fold just so that you've got some extra strength and sturdiness going. And then you just kind of smooth down the outside. Make sure the corners don't poke through on this one. Smooth it down the outside, and then you're just gonna flip it over, and hey, check that out. Now I've got basically a cookie cutter. I've got a square tray. So that is how you can make some fun shapes out of things that you have hanging around the kitchen. But then it can go in the oven. Once you've got a shape that you want to work with, you are going to take your beads, throw them in these bags just so they wouldn't escape, and you are going to make sure that you fill the bottom of any of your, of whatever shapes you have. You can make patterns in these, you can only use certain colors, whatever you want to do. Just kind of push everything around until the bottom of it is really as close covered as you can get. Or you can just dump beads in here. Now I've got my bottom really filled, and then I've got a few hanging out on a top layer. If you want to do 2 layers, you totally can, but one really over full layer is better. So let's see if we can shove most of these around so that they fit in. You really just kind of want to get it so it's as full as it possibly can. If you don't get it full enough, and if you don't heat it enough, you'll end up with one like this one where it's really bumpy and everything doesn't go all the way to the edge. You really want to avoid that. So make sure you've got more in there rather than less. Also, you can see some of these pony beads have the hole facing up. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you can turn it so that they're on their side, like if I just reach in here and poke this so that the bubble is in the middle and the colored part is facing up, that is going to do a lot better. And that will do a nice solid bit like this. You can see this one's really smooth, the colors are really even, the edge is perfect. I just need to take a little sander to it to kind of get the rough part off. But so you want to make sure the bottom is entirely covered. You've got as few holes pointing upward as possible. I'm just going to smush it around. Like I said, you can do color patterns, you can make shapes inside, you can do simple letters. If you want to get really ambitious, you can do all kinds of pictures and stuff, a la 8-bit Minecraft type pictures. You can totally try that. It's lots of fun. But just make sure you've got a good even layer across the whole bottom of your either muffin tin or your little homemade baking tins. Once you've done that, you are going to stick them on a cookie sheet or just in your baking tin, and you are going to put them either in the oven or the grill. You're going to cook them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes. It really depends on what kind of beads you have, how your oven works, there's a lot of different factors. So basically turn the light on and just keep an eye on them. It's actually really fun to watch them melt. Now, there is the fact that you are melting plastic. It's gonna stink, does not smell good, trust me. And there is some concern that said stinky fumes are in fact toxic and not good for people. Depending on how you feel about that, you have some options. You can use your home oven that's inside, maybe open the windows. I don't mind the smell so much, so I open one window on each side of that area of my home and get a good cross breeze going, sucks the terrible smell right out, and hopefully all of the bad things. I get smell triggered migraines, and I haven't gotten a migraine while doing this yet. So hopefully that means I'm not hurting myself. But open some windows, get some fans going, just have the horribleness go outside, or maybe it doesn't bother you. Another option is you can use a toaster oven, either inside or take it outside, plug it in the backyard, and just let the wind whip that away. Or you can actually do this on a grill. Just crank your grill up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, close the lid, let it get nice and hot first, then open it, pop the cookie sheet or muffin tin inside, and close it again, and then check it like every 3 minutes or so to see how the melting is coming along. They do go pretty quick on the grill, for some reason faster than the oven, I guess because it's a smaller space. So the little ones will be done in about 5 minutes and the bigger ones will be done in about 10. If you are doing in the oven and you're doing really big ones, depending on your oven, you might need to go for 20 minutes or so. So you have some options. Like I said, you can do inside with an oven or a toaster oven, or you can do outside with a toaster oven or a grill, depending on how you feel about horrible smells that may or may not be toxic in your space. But when you're done, you're going to carefully remove the pan, use a pot holder, whatever you need to do. Don't touch the hot pan with your fingers, that really hurts. My spouse accidentally did that the other day. And then you are going to let the pieces cool for a good 10-15 minutes. You do not want to touch them for a while. Set a timer for, let's say, half an hour. It's probably 10 minutes, but let's call it half an hour. And then your pieces should be hard and cold to the touch. You should just be able to flip the pan over, give it a tap, and have it come out. If that doesn't work, or if you are using aluminum foil like I do, then you'll just peel it off the back of your pieces and you will be left with these fun, funky little discs or stars or whatever shape you're doing. And they're fun little sun catchers. You can just see right through them. You can kind of see my finger through this one. Whee! And they are ready to go. Now, if you want to have a hole in them to hang them up, they make fun coasters, but if you want to have a hole in them to hang them up, you have two options. You can either, if you have a power drill, that'll go right through the plastic. Trust me, these are just, they drill through, and I've got some clear string on them, so they look like they're floating on my patio. And that took 5 seconds. It was so easy. The drill bit was like, is there something here? Oh, it's plastic, no biggie. If you don't have a drill or you'd really rather not use a drill, another option is you can take a piece of our good friend, the aluminum foil. Isn't aluminum foil fun? And you can ball it up a bit. You need a bigger piece than that, so maybe a substantial piece. You're gonna make a ball that's about the size of one of your beads out of aluminum foil, and you're gonna stick it in your tray about where you want the hole to be. So I'm gonna stick it right there. See if I can stick it between those. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna substitute that for a bead, and it should leave a hole right there when it comes out of the oven. I have some where I used that trick, and of course I left them out of reach while I was recording this, but because that's taking up the space of a bead, it should leave a hole. Probably won't be an evenly shaped hole, mine never are, but it will be a hole. So that is the quick and easy way to make sun catchers with ordinary plastic beads. I've spent a lot of fun afternoons doing this with my nieces and nephews. And I hope that you have a fun time doing this too. You can hang them on your Christmas tree, you can hang them in the windows, whatever you would like to do with them. And I would like to see what you make. So please find us on Facebook or Instagram. You can find our website at Marietta Cobb artmuseum.org, and that has links to our social media, and I would love to see what you create. But thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.